We are here today for a very unique personification that, guys, I'm not real sure exactly what to do with. Welcome to Stripped Cover Lit, pardon me, where we squeeze the bigger picture out of literature. I'm Adrian Ford, and we are here for another poetry discussion, which will appear, of course, inside the poetry discussion playlist here on the channel, now over 610 videos strong. The poem in question is Fog by Sandburg, and it reads as such. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over harbor and city on silent haunches, and then moves on. Now, there's a lot interesting going on with this poem. First off, anytime a poem is this short, I am intrigued because what it means is that the author said very few words and still figured that there was something there worth communicating. That is in itself a very large leap of ego, and I think that's always fair game. I think that is always worth the adventure, I guess, for the poem itself. Maybe the greatest examples of this type of adventure are obviously haikus, 5, 7, 5 syllables, but that's not the only type of haikus there are. But also, Ezra Pound had some very interesting, very short poems as well. This poem, however, the fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over the harbor and city on silent haunches, and then moves on. What are we to do with this? What are we to make of this? What are we supposed to look at this and say, oh, I get it? Well, we can start here. We're talking about the fog. Okay, fine, right? But the fog comes on little cat feet. So the fog comes in as if it were a cat. Fine. Okay. So we have the fog personified as a cat that sits looking over a harbor and city on silent haunches. You've seen cats do that, where they're just watching. What this is doing is that this is painting the city in the place of prey. So then we have to break it down a little bit further. What is a cat? A cat is a hunter. Cats have to eat meat. Cats are fierce and primal and stealthy and deadly. But here we have the cat making the conscious decision to move on. So if the cat is a hunter, it has decided not, in fact, to hunt. The cat has decided that this prey is not worth it. The cat has decided it will go on. Do you think that this cat would be described in such seemingly passive terms if it were used to describe the snow? So is it? I don't think so. The snow in Chicago? No, I don't think so. The cold in Chicago? No, I don't think so. A windstorm, a polar vortex in Chicago? No, I don't think that it would be described in such passive terms. Oh, I guess maybe I just assumed here. Sandburg, this poem is from, I think it's called Chicago Poems. Is that what it's called? He put out a collection called Chicago Poems. But in fairness, I don't think you have to really know that this is about Chicago. I think that the extrapolations from this poem could be made regardless of where it is that the poem is written about. The fact that it is the fog which is used or the fact that it is a cat which is used to describe the fog, I think is slightly at first misleading. What are these stereotypes about a cat? When you talk about cats versus dogs, what are the talking points that come about? People say, "Oh, well, dogs love you. Cats love that you love them. Dogs excited when you get home. The cat you really don't know. Maybe it will be excited to see you, but maybe it will be that cat again." I think that what is going on here is less that the cat is being used to symbolize the fog, but rather that the fog is used to symbolize the cat's passive mood. Does that make sense? We are, I think, tempted to assume that the fog is the big thing in this poem. I think kind of it's the cat instead. Now, the poem might be written to explain how the morning fog every day is sort of pensive in this way, the way that we see the cat in this poem. But is that the interesting part? Or is the interesting part really that the cat had moved on at the end of this poem? The cat has looked at the city, has observed the harbor silent on its haunches, and then decided to go. Just to go. I don't need to hunt today. I think kind of what the real commentary here is, I'm from Kansas City, not Chicago. Chicago isn't terribly far from where I am. I think that Chicago has the same type of weather that Kansas City has, but the cold is more extreme and the hot isn't quite as hot. The winds are more extreme, but I don't think they get the amount of tornadoes that we do here. So, what I'm saying is, I think that it's a similar type of weather in Chicago as we have here. You just twist the knobs a little bit. It's not like Florida where it's super hot and you get hurricanes, but you're not going to get snow. It's not like California where it's, I don't know, room temperature all the time. Sometimes there's a breeze. It's not like that. It's like Kansas City. Chicago is like Kansas City. So, the real interesting part of this poem from that perspective would not be the fog, would not even be the cat. It would be the cat's mood. Because sometimes the cat is going to pounce. Sometimes the cat is going to decide to just move along. You don't know. You don't get to tell the cat what to do. The cat will come along and decide what it wants to do with you. In the Midwest, that's kind of like the weather in general. We don't know what it is going to do from day to day. This may make the weatherman's job very easy in that he just has to throw a dart at a board and report whatever it is that whatever it is that his dart had hit. Or it could be very aggravating to someone whose job it is to tell the weather because they are never, ever right. So, taking the opposite approach to that, Sandburg here is not wishing to predict the weather, simply to describe it. What would the ideas at play be if this poem were using a cat to represent the snowstorms? Do you think it would be so passive then? Do you think that it would be silent on haunches then? Do you think this poem would note the little cat feet? No. The unpredictability of cats and the unpredictability of the weather, in my opinion, are the things that hold this symbol of the cat as the weather together. That is all I have for this video. If you like or appreciate what it is that I do here, hitting the like button really does help me out, as it tells YouTube to share this video with other literature lovers. If you find yourself here by chance but not design, literature is the only thing that I talk about on this channel, dropping multiple videos. There's poetry every Monday, and I hope to have you back for the next one.